Howdy y'all, I'm PaintThatBell, and today what we'll be doing is drawing some fan art for my friend Ghostpatns. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so who is Ghostpatns and why are you drawing fan art of them? I can hear you asking in the background. Y'all are pretty loud, I'm just saying. Alright, brief explanation. They're one of my YouTube friends. You might have seen them on some of my videos before, specifically the Gartic Gang videos. You should probably go watch them, they're pretty cool. But recently, Ghostpatns hit 20k subscribers, which, let's be honest, is probably a little bit more by now. Nevertheless, I really wanted to draw some congratulatory art for my friend, so that's what I'm doing now. What I'm drawing is their persona and, well, yeah. A sketch in the pose that I'm going for right now is sort of like an upward angle. I kind of wanted to have like sort of badass vibes, you know, make ghosts look really cool. I mean, it's not every day you get like 20k. So what I was thinking was maybe having their leg crossed on over, having all this and that, and of course get their crazy hair in as always. I mean, why wouldn't we? Now for the pose, I would say the pose is a little bit difficult because it is an upward angle, which can be difficult, but not to mention it is of a specific pose of a specific angle, and I really needed to make it look pretty good, pretty decent. And that's where today's superhero comes in, Magicposer. Magicposer is a website or an app that lets you pose different models in which right direction. It's really good so you don't have to spend hours on end looking for reference pictures, which I have in the past, as many artists probably also have. It's super annoying. But I find that the proportions are really accurate and really good, so that's why I kind of like to use Magicposer. I don't use it all the time, but when I really need references, this is pretty good. Also, typically during the sketch phase, what I like to do is when I really need it to look professional and really need it to look pretty good, what I typically tend to do is I tend to also draw in the guidelines of where the lighting and the shadows are, seeing as that's typically pretty helpful in knowing where my light sources are, and so I'm not having not a fun time during coloring and notice I make a mistake later on. So yeah, that's fun. What I've decided here was pretty what I similarly do in a lot of drawings, and what I find pretty popular in a lot of photography and a lot of drawings is that 3/4 light that tends to come from the right? Yeah, I think that's the right. It typically comes from the right, I believe. But yes. Moving on to the inks. Now, for the inking of this one, I really needed to be sure to know the direction because Ghostpatns persona, I'm pretty sure wears a tux. I mean, it looks pretty fancy. It looks like a tux. I mean, it's pretty dapper. So, with that in mind, typically how I like to draw a tux is I tend to draw a tux with pretty big splotches. And what I mean by that is everywhere except for where the lighting is and where the extra lines are, specifically at the shoulders or where pockets are, is I just block the entire thing in with ink, leaving only a few places where the light would shine to not block it in. I find that it really makes it look slick, really makes it look crisp and clean and extra dapper and look like a suit by doing it that way. And I've actually done this before in drawing Minecraft YouTubers realistically from their skins with ranboo. I find that it just looks really clean, really slick, and really dapper. So I tend to draw that every single time I draw a suit. Now when drawing the hair, I typically do what I always do with hair. And with that, I draw by the pointed ends of the end of the hair and upward. And then extra lines where you would see clumps of hair and where the light doesn't shine as much. That's how I draw hair, made simply. Drawing and inking hair is always one of my favorite things to do because it's so much fun. It's like... Yes, the swooshing sounds are important, otherwise the hair won't be right. This is your art tip for the day. Swooshing sounds. Alright, so lastly, we draw in this entire drawing. Now, Ghostpatns really likes pink, so it wasn't hard to really make the facial features and what I needed to stand out, you know? But for extra context, what I also really wanted to do was add rim lighting. Now, rim lighting always makes drawings stand out, especially when you do it right. For example, if you add directional lighting for rim lighting, it not only adds like a backdrop light, but it also adds a little bit extra mood to the drawing and really makes it just pop and work. But again, always use directional lighting even when you're doing rim lighting. And typically what I like to do for rim lighting is I like to make rim lighting be completely on the opposite side. So, and in this case, what I wanted to do was do rim lighting from the side, specifically more centered to the face, so it draws eyes more and really makes the face pop out. Even if the hair does a lot of that. I mean, the hair's pretty pink. It's a really hot pink. For the tux, I really didn't have to do much for the tux, seeing as most of it's inked. But I did do a lot of rim lighting for the tux, so you know, it also looks pretty slick, pretty nice, you know. Another thing I did was for the ghost, what I tend to do for transparent things is I block in the color and typically make it like a gel-like layer, so it does look more transparent. And if I need to mess with the opacity, I will typically do that. And for the background, I was considering a lot of different colors. I was considering like grays to make the face pop out more, but that really tended to blend in with the tux. And it kind of really didn't work for the mood. Yellow would have really made it like stand out too much and distract from the face. So I was thinking a ombre from a very dark purplish pink from the outside to lighter pink towards the character, and I find that it really typically works a lot of the time for a lot of characters anyway. So that's what I kind of did, and at the end of the day, I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out. thank you for watching till the end. If you made it this far, then what I typically like to do is include code words for people who watch all the way to the end. So today's code word is pants. And I'll see all y'all later.